and welcome to Let's Talk. Look at DeAnne, like she's ready to talk. She's ready to talk. I'm Carolyn Berry. I'm the executive director of Alzheimer's Arkansas, and we have Gigi Gabriel. She is our education and outreach manager, and our special guest today, DeAnne Milligan. Correct. I always say her name wrong, but I said it correct today. And we're going to talk about pre-needs consultant aftercare counseling. So that's what she does, but we're going to talk about pre-arrangements, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is really a very important topic, and I think most of us kind of steer away from the pre-arranged topic, but there's probably one thing for sure, like, it's scripture, but it's true. Surely as we live, we will surely die. We don't know when, but we should give a gift, and that's how I see it, a gift to our loved ones, because I went through it last year with a loved one, my ex-husband, a gift of not having your loved ones to worry about your final services. So we have DeAnne here. She is very knowledgeable. She helped me. Her staff is wonderful, and we're going to talk about that today. So we're going to ask you a few questions, kind of put you in the hot seat. If you're out there looking live right now on Facebook or YouTube, please click and share. This is some important information. You don't have to be a caregiver. This information is really relevant to all of us. So click and share, and we're going to just have a little conversation on prearrangement and how important. Now, it is a difficult topic, but it is a much needed topic. So, DeAnne, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a military brat, so I really, when I get asked the question, where am I from, I really don't know how to respond to that, because I've been in a lot of different places, but I've lived in Arkansas the longest. I have banking and sales and marketing in my background. My nephew is one of the owners here at the funeral home, and he after he helped my mother with my dad and my brother arranging funeral service, because I was a basket case and was no help to her. After helping her, he felt led to do this business. And so that was his dream for many years, and it came to a point where he was able to, him and some local boys went in business together to start this ministry, because one of the reasons why is today most people can't afford $10,000-$15,000 for a funeral, and they wanted to be able to help families with their services. So that comes to one of the points about rearranging, because if a family member hasn't rearranged and they pass, it's the family's responsibility to pay for it. So if you have two members die, it most likely would put a lot of people under. They couldn't pay for it. So, and we really have an obligation as an individual. We all know one day that day is coming. So it's an obligation we have to take care of that.
So could you explain to us exactly what prearrangement is?
Well, prearrangement is choosing what kind of service you want for yourself, whether it's burial or cremation, and you can prepay it, just like you're prearranging it, or you can make payments on it. And one of the important things of prearranging is you lock in the price. Even if you live 30, 50 years from now, the day you lock it in, it's not going to go up. It stays the same.
What if someone moves and is no longer in Arkansas?
If they move, they can take their policy with them. it can transfer to any funeral home.
Okay. Okay.
Because we put them on insurance policy, it's a burial insurance policy. And so, and that happens a lot. And that's what we tell people is if, things can change. They move out of state or, want to be buried by one of their family members in another state. So people change their minds.
So why should anyone prearrange their funeral services besides just kind of not having to have their loved ones have to do it? Are there any other reasons that kind of with them having that choice and different things like that?
Well, I would say other than the obligation that you have to take care of, that situation and it locks in your price, it takes off the emotional spending for your loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
And truly, it's like Carolyn said, it is a gift to your children.
Mm-hmm.
They may not see it at the time, but when that time comes and they have to come into the funeral home and mom or dad has taken care of everything, that all they've got to do is sign a piece of paper. I mean, that is a burden lifted.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're asked 1,000 questions within 48 hours. Lots of decisions have to be made, from do we want to put mama's glasses on her? Does she not want her glasses? What is she going to wear? Does she want her rings on? What color lipstick? There's a lot of different questions that you're asked. And so it is just, it's love. It's a gift.
Yeah.
The other thing is, when you prearrange, you can make payments. People may not have, whatever a funeral service costs in their bank account and can write a check and pay for it. Prearrange and prepay for it. So other people choose to make payments on it, which is whatever is affordable for their budget. But they're taking care of it.
So there was a question, because I was telling someone about it, where we're going to have you on, and they wanted to know, so what happens if all the payments aren't made? Like if they pass away before all the payments are made.
So if the payments are not made and there is a balance, there will be a balance due.
Okay.
At the time.
Okay.
It will have to be paid.
And if your facility closes down, moves, it's just kind of like you said before that you can take it to any other, so you don't have to worry about you shutting down.
Correct. You can take it to any funeral home. Any funeral home will pick up your policy. And also, people get concerned, but all of our policies are turned into the Arkansas Insurance Department. They have all the records.
So even if you don't know if your loved one, or you suspect, like, I think my mother has a prepaid arrangement. I think she talked about it. So all you really have to do is contact Arkansas Insurance.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of it?
Contact. I mean, we get calls all the time where our mother has a policy. She said she has a policy in Jacksonville Funeral Home. Or, so we get lots of calls when people don't really know. And so when I help family members to prearrange, I give them a folder and, reiterate, keep where, in a safe place, keep it to where your children, or, tell your children or your friend where your paperwork is. Or you can give them a copy of it.
Okay. Okay.
What happens if it's not paid off at the time of death? Like if their loved one's paying for the prearrangement, then do the family just pay for the rest of it, the remainder, or how does that work?
The remainder has to be paid at the time.
What kind of packages and service do you offer? Are there a wide range of them, or just very direct ones?
We do have several packages in place. Like our traditional funeral service starts at $29.95, $2,995. That does include a casket. That includes picking someone up within 50 miles of our facility here in Jacksonville. Um, and that includes a visitation at our chapel or at your church and a funeral service at your church or our chapel.
Okay. What about cremation?
Cremation?
Are there
Go ahead.
kind of the prices on those, or how does that go?
We have our direct cremation, just straight cremation, no services, $695. And we have a lot of families that choose cremation because that's their only option because of money. When families come in, have not prearranged, we have family members that are emptying their pockets on the table trying to see how much money they can come up with, and so normally they have to go with the cremation. So, and that includes picking someone up within 50 miles and bringing them back here, the cremation, and then we put everyone in a container.
Okay. And after that, do you offer, do you sell urns there or jewelry kind of regarding the cremation? What kind of happens after that step?
We do. We have a book full of urns and jewelry. We also fingerprint everyone that comes through here. So people are doing lots of things with fingerprints, from necklaces to rings, keychains, a lot of different things. So we're getting creative. Some even ask for the fingerprint for tattoos. Because we don't do the tattoos, though.
I thought you were giving tattoos down there.
Yep.
Do you have any more questions, Gigi?
No.
No?
You go ahead, Carolyn. Your turn.
So, as we talk about this, I guess the most important thing you figure out that it's a gift. And if you have family members, more than one child, to me it's very important to, like, the part I like about it, because to give a little information, I gave my children a gift of doing this myself. But because I don't want them to guess about anything, because like I have a number of children, and if you say what color lipstick am I wearing, you're probably gonna get like 5 like that. So, or what song to play, or did she like this? What's her favorite? Like you can you can't think. Like today, you can think, but when something happens like this, like your clarity is gone. And each child, it's emotional, and this can be the most difficult time of a family's life because everybody has this idea or perception of they know what their loved one wants or wanted. And like they have everything where you can just like, from like what I want to wear, this dress, like get the dress out of this, to lipstick, to make sure my hair looks like this, to play this song. It truly is a gift to be made. And I think a lot of us don't really think about that, but we know families, and even in our own families, how difficult this time can be. It breaks up families sometimes. And I know we don't want, for me, I don't want my loved ones to have conflict because they disagree on what they think I wanted. So the staff there at Natural State, they're great. Like they take care of you from the beginning. Like I've never been through it before, so even like knowing that they're gonna come pick up the body, to like, I did not know. I was just like at a loss. Like, what am I supposed to do? So somebody there to take you step by step, and somebody, and I love the way DeAnne says their ministry, because this is for many people like their beliefs and their value system lies in the services. So if and you don't have to use DeAnne. I hate to say that, DeAnne, but like, it's a lot of places out there. Like the most important thing is to get it done. And there's no time like the present. And it's hard because we don't want to think about that we are dying. And when people get diagnoses and you see that they're getting sick, that's the last thing we want to think about. We want to think about that they're getting better. And we tend to think that if we plan an arrangement that we're preparing, but we're not preparing for death, we're preparing for like just the next step because we all are going to pass away.
Right.
DeAnne, do you have anything that you would like to say to our viewers?
I have a question where if you died tomorrow, you think about your children having to come in a room and face making arrangements for you, and what is that going to look like? Because coming in a room faced with 1,000 questions versus coming in a room and everything is taken care of, especially when you're in an emotional basket case, and you're not trying to think of what mom wanted or dad wanted or where they wanted to bury cremation, because I can tell you it is true that it'll either bring you closer together as a family or rip you in half, because people's emotions, when they get involved, they don't make very good decisions. Especially some people will want the very best for their mom or the very best casket for their dad, and they'll overspend. And life insurance is good, and I think everybody should have it. But life insurance is intended to, because the living part of the family have to go on and pay their bills without the other loved one. And so that is what life insurance is for. People say, well, I don't need to prearrange because I have life insurance. And life insurance is good. The difference between the life insurance and the burial insurance is the burial insurance will lock in your prices. The life insurance, you're going to pay for what a funeral costs the day you die. So it might be, funerals might be $5,000 when you take out your life insurance policy. But if you live 30, 40 years, it could be $50,000. And we're seeing right now, people that took out $500 policies in the 30s was more than enough to pay for a funeral service. More than enough. And money left over for the family. And so, even though that's close to 100 years, that's not near what it costs. I mean, you can't even get a casket for $500. So, there's just a lot of things to consider.
You took my next question because I was going to ask you the difference or the benefits of life insurance versus prearrangement. And you could read my mind, D. You could read my mind.
Well, in term life insurance, because my mom brought this up to me the other day, she has life insurance that she's paid on most of her life, but it ends at 85. And some end at 70 or 72 or even 80. So you've paid on that all your life, and then it's gone. You have nothing.
And you're not going to get any of it back.
No.
So it's still like, especially with a term life, if it ends and maybe you don't qualify again, because usually at the end of the term you have to reapply. And if you have to, for the most part, qualify health-wise, and if they turn down you because of your health or any other reason, then you're still left without any coverage, right?
Yeah.
So
We do write people that are sick. Gigi had asked about a trust account. So there's kind of two ways. We go with an insurance policy on somebody that is well, and then if on the trust ones, we usually use those for people that they tell us that it's probably going to be less than a year. And a lot of people will just, that's when they think they want to go ahead and take care of this. So we get a lot of those calls. And a lot of those people say, I have never done this before. What's going to happen? What do I do? Do I call you guys? You know, so there's a lot of questions. You know, people plan for a wedding for a year. And then when it comes to a funeral, you've got 48 hours.
Yeah. And the great thing from my personal experience with like the trust, if you like, so you think you know how much the service is going to cost, and you pay it. So you pay the full amount. Well, if it does not cover, like if you pay more than the services, then your monies are returned to you.
That is correct.
Yeah. So you don't have to worry about, like, if you like, I think it's going to cost, what I think we're going to have is $5,000. But then when you actually go in and everything is done, then you didn't use all, or you changed the services a little bit, then you will be refunded whatever you didn't use.
That is true. That is correct.
But what age range do you see of people getting the prearranged funerals? Because I know I'm late 30s, and so I know I've never even thought about it at all or anything, and didn't even know that was an option. So kind of, is it more in their 50s, 60s, or kind of how?
A lot is 60s and 70s. I have had some 40s and 50s, people just wanting to take care of it. So any age, I mean, there is no right or wrong, too young, too old.
Yeah.
But it is something, everybody should take care of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say this, Gigi. So for when I did it, so it just kind of depends. Like, although I plan to live like forever, for a long, long time, 50 more years at least, it gives you the ability to adjust it to your budget. So like, if you want to pay it out in 5 years, 8 years, depending on how long and what your budget needs are, then you can base it on that. So that's a good thing. So if you look at the services and say, okay, my services come up to $4,000, and then you're like, well, how long do I want to pay on it? DeAnne, she's going to help you, and she's like, okay, do you need to pay for it in 2 years, or you want to pay for it in 8 years? It'll lower your budget, so it can fit almost anyone's budget. So it doesn't have to be a thing where like, I can afford $50 a month.
Yeah.
The longer you do it, the lower your price is, your monthly payment, so you can make it fit your budget wherever you are. So that is a great thing about it.
DeAnne, what's the best way to kind of get in touch with you? Just, is it through, do you guys have a website? Would it through email, kind of to discuss it with you? Do you have to make an appointment, especially now? How are you guys doing that? Are people able to go in?
You can come in, make an appointment and come into the office. And right now, due to COVID, they're allowing us to do it over the telephone. If you have a checking account, to where they can run the payment through on your checking account.
Okay.
Those are really the only two ways. If you don't want to come into the office, I mean, I can meet you out somewhere to take care of this. So, yeah, it's definitely changed a few things, but it's also got a lot of people thinking. I had a lady call me the other day, and she's on Social Security. It's just her, and she doesn't make very much money. And so she had to finance 10 years just to meet her budget, but she wanted to take care of it. She did not want to leave that responsibility on her children. So I thought,
We have a question that flashed on the screen. Okay, it's from Amanda, and she said she's asking, what are some factors that families should consider when choosing a funeral service provider?
I'll tell you the best. This is my way of thinking. The word of mouth is the best way to find out what funeral home works best for you. People are learning that, it used to be back when I was young that everyone just used their hometown funeral home. And a lot of people still do that. People are learning to shop around price wise. But you can read lots of comments on their website. You can talk to a lot of people that's had services at a funeral home. You can look at, some people look at the obituaries to see what funeral homes people are using. So there's a lot of different ways, but I would definitely talk to people that's used certain funeral homes.
And I guess that's kind of something we should have insight in as well, because that's that 48-hour window, right? Like you have to choose one in a short amount of time.
Because, well, when you get, if your family gets put on hospice wants to know what funeral home. I mean, we get so many calls from that. People calling because hospice said you need to find a funeral home, and they're calling around trying to find a funeral home. And then nursing homes will want you to have a plan set in place. You have to
That's true.
Enter a nursing home, so they want to know where you're going.
Yes, absolutely. So, DeAnne, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to come and sharing and educating us on prearrangements. It is a hard conversation, but it can make your life and death, no pun intended, so much easier. And it should be things we should be considering. And I just want to bring out that you can do it at any age, and DeAnne can help you almost at any budget to figure out how to get your arrangements paid for.
And I want to say one more thing before we go. So we do have a booklet, just for anybody watching that has parents, older parents that have not prearranged. We have a booklet that I give people so they can write down their wishes. If they don't have the money, or whatever it might be, I can give you a book and you can write. They can just make a plan, so that way the family knows at least a little bit of what they want.
I do have another question before you leave. It's from Yolanda. Hey, Yolanda. Does the plan build interest? I guess if you put it in a trust account, does it build interest?
Trust account does not build interest, but the burial insurance does.
Okay.
So we have a lot of plans out there that when the people have passed, they've had money left over. Could anywhere be $100, and they can use it towards an obituary, or just get refunded the money back. So
Okay.
Are you able to make changes to the funeral contract to what you want, throughout the years if things change? And
you sure can. People add to them all the time.
Okay.
Oh, so that brings me to, so can family, check this out. I'm prearranging, right? Because I know what I want. And I'm not there, because I passed on to glory. And one of my children wants to change something in my prearrangement. Can that be done?
Okay.
You paid for it. You signed it. It's mama's wishes.
Okay.
That's what we're going with.
Okay.
Because that happens a lot.
Okay.
We had An elderly gentleman come in and prearranged his whole service, his burial, cemetery plot, paid for everything. He had 2 sons. They both come in to sign off the paperwork. One son was fine, whatever Dad wanted, what's his wishes. The other one was not. He wanted to have him cremated and get the money back.
Not happening.
No.
You can't even change my lipstick color, can you?
Right? Better not.
No,
That's the only thing I care about.
I said nothing.
Nothing. That's good to know. That's very good to know. Okay. So,
Yeah, I don't know if every funeral home is like that.
so everyone's not the same. Okay.
Oh.
But for the most part, it is a legal document. Correct. Okay.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. So thank you so much. See, we learned something today. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
It's always good to see you, DeAnne. So,
It is.
so you can catch us next month on Let's Talk with Carolyn and Gigi every Thursday, third Thursday, 2:00, same bat time, same bat place, all time place. So thank you all for joining us. Please like and share. This information will be available on our Facebook page, and share it with somebody so they can check it out. So thank you and have a good afternoon. Bye, ladies.
Bye.